I'm Liyana Hassanel and this is Nightline, the top stories. Civil servants to get 500 ringgit Idolfitry aid. And non-medical masks gazetted, Sirim markings compulsory. Good morning. The government has agreed to give a special Idolfitry financial aid of 500 ringgit to all civil servants on grade 56 and below, including those on contract of service and contract for service, part-time daily paid officers and appointments under My Step. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said government pensioners would get a similar aid of 250 ringgit. In a statement on Tuesday, the Prime Minister said that this special aid will be paid together with the April salary on April 25th. The special aid involves an allocation of 923 million ringgit and will benefit more than 2 million civil servants and pensioners. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri added that the announcement on the aid this year was made earlier to help people make better planning and preparations for their Idolfitry celebrations. He pointed out that this incentives also shows the government's appreciation of the deeds and sacrifices made by civil servants in performing their duties to serve the Malaysian family. Non-medical masks were gazetted under the Trade Descriptions, Certification and Marking Order under the Trade Descriptions Act 2011 on Monday. The Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry said the measure was to ensure non-medical manufacturers and importers of masks complied with the set safety standards. In a statement on Tuesday, the ministry said that manufacturers and importers of non-medical face masks are required to apply for MS Sirim certification and marking from Sirim QAS International Sdn Bhd as the authority appointed by the ministry. The MS Sirim markings must be placed on the box or package that are easily visible to consumers. It said that the MS Sirim markings on the non-medical masks would ensure it has fulfilled the safety standards, are good quality and safe to be used. The ministry said the order will take effect on July 4th. The ministry will be taking enforcement action against manufacturers or importers who failed to comply with the order. For companies, they will be facing fines up to 200,000 ringgit. For a second or subsequent offence, a fine not exceeding 500,000 ringgit. Individuals will be facing fines up to 100,000 ringgit or prison sentences not exceeding 3 years or both. For a second or subsequent offence, a fine not exceeding 250,000 ringgit or imprisonment no more than 5 years or both. With the Gazette enforced, the ministry hopes the issue of dumping of non-medical masks of poor quality in the market will be resolved with compliance with standards by manufacturers and importers. On another matter, the ministry revealed that the Trade Descriptions for Certification and Marking of Electronic Cigarette Devices Order 2022 under the Trade Descriptions Act 2011 will take effect on August 3rd. He said the order is to ensure that vape products are safe to use. In a statement on Tuesday, the ministry said local manufacturers and importers of electronic cigarettes or vape devices must now apply for Sirim certification and labelling from Sirim QAS International Sdn Bhd. The ministry also said the MS Sirim marking shall be placed on the electronic cigarette device, its spare part, or on the container of the device which is easily visible to the user. This will indicate that it has complied with safety standards and is safe to use. Companies that fail to comply with the new Sirim certificate and marking law can be fined up to 200,000 ringgit, and for second or repeat offenders, they can be fined up to 500,000 ringgit. The ministry said it hopes the Federal Gazette will prevent local manufacturers and importers from marketing and selling poor quality vapes or e-cigarette devices in Malaysia. Meanwhile, the ministry has received 7 complaints on vehicles with foreign registration numbers filing subsidized petrol RON 95 since the reopening of the nation's borders on April 1st. Its Director of Enforcement, Azman Adam, said all the complaints in Johor included 5 complaints received on Tuesday and 2 complaints under investigation. The petrol stations involved have also been identified.
Ekoran daripada insiden-insiden tersebut, kita telah mengarahkan supaya pemeriksaan yang lebih ketat dan lebih kerap lagi dilaksanakan. Di stesen-stesen minyak kita akan pantau, dan kami juga telah memberi amaran kepada semua pemilik stesen minyak, kepada semua syarikat minyak, sekiranya mereka tertangkap ataupun didapati bersalah untuk ini, maka kita tidak akan teragak-agak untuk mengambil tindakan yang bersesuaian dengan undang-undang.
He added that his ministry has monitored the issue since 2018 and issued instructions to 281 petrol stations operating within a radius of 25 kilometers from the Johor border and 50 kilometers from the Thai border not to sell RON 95 to foreign vehicles. Stickers on the warnings are also put on each oil pump, in addition to spot checks at petrol stations through a special patrol squad. He also urged the public to lodge complaints to his ministry for the authorities to take action. In the meantime, Ramadan Bazaar traders in Kuala Lumpur who profiteer and do not display prices of their goods will face the full force of the law starting on Wednesday. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry's Kuala Lumpur Director, Arifin Samsudin, said his officers were instructed to go easy on the traders over the past 3 days and focus on advocacy.
Memang betul lah, untuk esok kita tidak akan berkompromi lah. Tadi pun saya sendiri personally, saya ada nasihat mana-mana yang tidak meletakkan tanda harga, nampak tak proper dia punya kedai, makanan tak bersih ke, yang itu saya tegur dululah. Jadi saya yakin esok anggota-anggota penguasa Kabinet NCP kita akan memantau secara berterusan. Di KL ni pun kita secara berterusan. Semua bazar Ramadan di Kuala Lumpur dipantau secara berterusan, termasuk pasar pagi.
Arifin said this during a price check operation at the iconic Jalan Raja Alang Ramadan Bazaar in Kuala Lumpur on Tuesday. He added that there were 98 enforcement personnel who were designated for the 50 bazaars and markets throughout the city daily, alongside 89 price checkers. Malaysia has so far not recorded any cases of the new Omicron Xe variant, a new mutation which is more contagious than any of the other COVID-19 variants. Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin said the ministry was studying the characteristics of this variant that had been reported in other countries, including Thailand, in order to identify its infectivity rate and seriousness to patients.
Kita sedang mengikuti perkembangan tersebut. Kita pun tak tahu sama ada varian ini apakah ciri-ciri varian. Ada dua benda yang kita tengok dengan varian baru ini. Kebolehjangkitan dia dan keseriusannya. Dua perkara. Kebolehjangkitan Omicron contohnya lagi tinggi daripada Delta sebab tu kes melambung naik. Tapi keseriusannya lebih sederhana daripada Delta. Sebab tu kita punya unit rawatan rapi pun tak penuh lagi macam dulu.
He spoke to the media after visiting Raja Permaisuri Bainon Hospital in Ipoh, Perak on Tuesday. The World Health Organization, WHO, has reportedly warned about the Omicron Xe, a new mutation of the Omicron variant, which is more contagious than the other COVID-19 variants. WHO, through its latest report, states that this variant is a recombinant strain, a mutant hybrid of Omicron BA1 and BA2. On another matter, Khairy revealed that the government is in talks with big countries to recognize its COVID-19 vaccination and test certificates, as done by the European Union, EU, to facilitate the movement of Malaysian travellers abroad. He said the decision of the European Commission on the recognition effective Monday would allow travellers from Malaysia to venture abroad without too much hassle.
Jadi ini sebenarnya adalah pengiktirafan kepada sistem VMS kita, Vaccine Management System kita, dan juga sistem MySejahtera yang memaparkan sijil kita.
He said the Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry is in talks with all major countries for other destinations, such as tourism and investment, to recognize MySejahtera. On Monday, President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said the COVID-19 vaccination and test certificates issued by Malaysia are in accordance with the Union's vaccine management system and was considered as equivalent to those issued in accordance with EU's regulation. Pakatan Harapan PH leaders on Tuesday pledged their commitment to supporting the soon-to-be-tabled Federal Constitution Bracket Amendments 2022 bill on anti-party hopping. The coalition's Presidential Council in a statement said that the decision was made after a meeting with Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob earlier in the day. Among those present were Opposition Leader Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who is also PKR Chief, Amanah President Muhammad Sabu, DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke, and UPCO President Datuk Seri Wilfred Madius Tanggau. According to the statement, the Prime Minister gave his commitment that there will be no changes to the notice on the special meeting of the Dewan Rakyat scheduled for April 11th. Datuk Seri Anwar also raised the issue of MySejahtera, which is owned by a foreign company. He said the issue needs to be explained fully to the Dewan Rakyat. Extends COVID-19 lockdown to entire city. The details when we return. On to the foreign front. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Tuesday has warned that the worst atrocities committed by Russian troops departing from the north of the country are yet to be discovered, and the town of Borodyanka may have suffered more than others. Russia denies killing civilians and without evidence says Ukraine staged the scenes. But the images prompted US President Joe Biden to call for his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin to be tried for war crimes. The Ukrainian government also started a war crimes investigation after it said the bodies of 410 civilians had been found in areas around Kyiv. Some were discovered in mass graves, while others had their hands tied and had apparently been shot at close range. In the meantime, Zelensky is due to speak to the United Nations Security Council later on Tuesday, where he is expected to offer more evidence of atrocities. In another setback to Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, 42 MPs has left his coalition government on Tuesday as the island nation grapples with its worst economic crisis. MPs from parties that had an alliance with Rajapaksa's Sri Lanka Podujana Paramuna SLPP-led coalition said they would now independently represent themselves. This means that Rajapaksa's SLPP has lost its majority in parliament. The MPs, however, have yet to extend support to the opposition. Sri Lanka is in the midst of its worst financial crisis, with citizens facing long hours of power outages and scarcity of essentials. This has triggered widespread protests, prompting the government to declare an emergency and impose curfew. Chinese authorities extended a lockdown in Shanghai to cover all of the financial center's 26 million people on Tuesday, after citywide testing saw new COVID-19 cases surge to more than 13,000 amid growing public anger over quarantine rules. The lockdown now covers the entire city after restrictions in its western districts were extended until further notice, in what has become a major test of China's zero-tolerance strategy to eliminate the novel coronavirus. At least 38,000 personnel have been deployed to Shanghai from other regions in what state media has described as the biggest nationwide medical operation since the shutdown of the city of Wuhan in early 2020, after the first known coronavirus outbreak there. Shanghai's quarantine policy has been criticized for separating children from parents and putting asymptomatic cases among those with symptoms. Sports, football, the Portuguese Primeira Liga. Porto moved 6 points clear of Sporting CP at the top of the standings after securing a 3-0 victory over mid-table side Santa Clara. Porto struck their first after 38 minutes when Fabio Vieira curled the ball home past goalkeeper Marco Pereira following a clever set-piece move. A horrendous back pass from the left wing led to Porto's second 3 minutes later as Vieira reacted fastest to Pipi Aquino's rebound. Porto put the result beyond a doubt 6 minutes before the final whistle when Zaidu Sanusi scored from Galeno's block effort, sealing a 3-0 win. Porto have now won 24 of their 28 league matches this season and remain unbeaten, having taken 76 points from a possible 84 so far. Still on football, the Australian A-League. Central Coast Mariners have moved within striking distance of the top 6 after thumping Wellington Phoenix 5-0 at Central Coast Stadium. First half goals from Marco Urania and Benny Nkololo, combined with second half strikes from Jason Cummings, Garang Kuol and Matt Hatch, moved the hosts to within 2 points to the top 6. Unbeaten in their last 7, Nick Montgomery's side has 2 games in hand on their rivals in the finals and possess the second-best goal difference in the competition. The injury and COVID-ravaged Phoenix, though still above the Mariners on the table with equal games played, have now lost 2 on the bounce by a combined score of 11-0. Still to come on Nightline, drug suspects shot dead in shootout with police. Welcome back. Pulau Pinang police have crippled a house break-in syndicate with the arrest of 6 local men, including the mastermind last month. State CID Chief SAC Rahimi Rais said with the arrests, police have solved 14 house break-in cases in 5 states.
Modus operandi kumpulan ini adalah memasuki ke rumah mangsa dengan cara mengumpil pintu pagar dan juga mengumpil dan memotong mangga pintu dengan menggunakan peralatan seperti master key dan juga kuku kambing.
Police said the syndicate activities were uncovered after one of the victims, a 61-year-old investment agent, lodged a police report on February 26th after his house in Air Itam was broken into, causing him to suffer a loss of 50,000 ringgit. Following the report, the 6 suspects were detained in 2 separate raids throughout Pintu Mutiara in Kulim, Kedah, and Kuala Lumpur on March 25th. All the suspects were aged between 34 and 47, and they were from Selangor, Johor, Kedah, Pulau Pinang, Pahang, and Kuala Lumpur. Police also believe that the syndicate had been active in house break-ins since last January. Police are also looking for another individual believed to be a member of the syndicate. All the suspects were remanded to facilitate the probe. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code, which can lead to imprisonment for up to 14 years and whipping if convicted. In Terengganu, 2 men suspected of being involved in drug-related crimes were killed in a shootout with the police in Kampung Simpang Toku earlier Tuesday. State Deputy Police Chief SAC Wan Rukman Wan Hassan said the duo fled in a car after they were detained by police during an operation dubbed Op Kesan conducted by the state and federal police. Police finally caught up with them between Wakaf Beruas and Persimpangan Tok Ku when one of the suspects suddenly fired a shot at police, forcing police to open fire on the 2 suspects in the car. After giving chase, the suspects led police to an empty house where one of them was shot dead, while his accomplice was found dead in the vehicle they were travelling in.
Apabila telah selesai, didapati kedua-dua suspek telah dipercayai telah terbunuh dan pihak polis tidak mengalami apa-apa kecederaan kecuali ada sedikit semasa berlaku pelanggaran semasa nak memberhentikan kenderaan suspek untuk berhenti daripada memecuknya.
The two suspects were confirmed to be locals. In Kedah, police arrested 2 men and seized 950 kilograms of ketum leaves worth 14,250 ringgit at Taman Batik last Friday. Acting Kuala Muda District Police Chief Superintendent Anwar Abdul Rahman said the suspects aged 30 and 41 were detained in a lorry while police were patrolling the area at about 2:30 a.m. Initial investigations revealed that the two suspects were believed to be involved in the distribution of ketum leaves since last month by acting as runners or delivery riders of goods. He said further inspection in the lorry found 95 black plastic packages which contained green leaves suspected to be ketum leaves, believed to be for smuggling out to neighbouring countries. The case was being investigated under the Poisons Act. He added that the distribution of ketum leaves is believed to be masterminded by a Thai man, and they received a salary of 1,000 ringgit to send supplies of ketum leaves from Pendang to Changlun. Police managed to detain both suspects in the Taman Batik area on the way home after failing to deliver supplies to Changlun. In Selangor, a truck driver escaped death after the truck he was driving collided with a container that fell off a flyover on Jalan Pelabuhan Klang on Tuesday. During the incident, the 49-year-old victim, Rusaini Hassani, was on his way to Pulau Indah before a container carrying recyclable boxes fell. Selangor Fire and Rescue Department Director Nur Azam Khamis said a team from the Kota Raja Fire and Rescue Station were dispatched to the scene after receiving a call at 1:17 p.m. Upon arrival, it was reported that a container had fallen from the top of a 12-meter-high flyover and had collided with a truck before being hit by another truck, resulting in the victim being trapped. The victim, who suffered injuries, was sent to Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital. A former two-time Japanese bike trials champion proved just as capable on the ice after performing a series of tricks and flips in freezing temperatures. Tomomi Nishikubo, who became Japanese trials champion in 2016 and 2017, looked at home in unfamiliar surroundings as he attempted tricks without his feet hitting the ground. Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for watching and stay safe, Malaysia.